I'm back on the Ruiner soundtrack again. It's very good. Yo, Damien. Okay, do you know what I found recently? I'm moving right now, by the way. I'm mid-move. I guess my fiance and I haven't really like made a public like announcement of this yet, but we bought a place. And so I'm mid-move. I got stuff everywhere right now. It's not a pretty sight, my home. But give me a sec. Richard, please. Help me out here. Yeah, very dramatic pause. I apologize. Oh my god. It's full of things. So, I hold my hands. So, I'm not gonna lie to you, Damien. I received this from you and promptly lost it, and I found it again. And I apologize for how long it has taken me to say I have this in my hands. But I'm thrilled you rolled in today so early, because yeah, I'm moving, and moving, you know, necessitates going through your junk drawer, the junk drawer of your life, basically, and saying, do I need these things actually? And if not, taking a Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or wherever and saying, hey, take my stuff, please. I've given many things away for free, and people are taking it. So, this... Can I even... Do I even have a... No, I can't do it very easily. So, I have in my hands Lost Chocolate Lab, Damien Kastbauer, sound effects demo reel. From a bygone era. Is this thing dated? It's a sound effects audio implementation demo reel. Put this one on too, this one's good. There we go. So, yeah. Has like your address and stuff. Your Minnesota address, I don't know where you're living now. Yeah, so Lost Chocolate Lab, look at this. It's like a fully printed Damien Kastbauer's sound effects on the side of the DVD. Or CD, I think it's DVD. On the back, it includes such hits as iCat, Phillips Research, Age of Chivalry from Team Chivalry, Treasure Hunt from Your World Games, and Elemental Wars from Playful Minds. Oh, and also OAD, Zero AD, Zero AD. This is legit, man. I'm blushing, he says. Okay, so... and there's like a breakdown of each thing on the back, like what it is. There you go. Okay. We're opening it up. This is like an unboxing right now. If you're just rolling in right now into this stream, we have Damien Kastbauer, the legend. The legend. We have a demo reel from him that he gave me an embarrassingly long time ago, and I lost immediately, and I've now found again after digging through my closets and stuff. So it comes. So inside is a leaflet. Indie before indie was a thing, exactly. I need more space right now. I can't work under these conditions. Okay. All right. Oh, and yeah, look forward to the stream in like 2 weeks, probably, because I'll be fully moved into my new place. and I want to, you know, just brace for impact. It's not this nonsense behind me. It's pretty sweet. I'm very into it. Be a new space. I'm looking forward to it. Might green screen it and stuff. We'll see. Okay, we have what looks to be a resume of some kind. I'm gonna move this a bit closer. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have a resume here. Yeah, we're gonna roast it on this show, of course. I mean, I literally don't even have the means by which to play a disc. I don't think my current tower even has a drive to accommodate for that. If you just have it like in a folder somewhere, like Google Drive, I can do that. But like, what do I even do with this? What is that? This is incredible. Hey, Canopy Music. Yes, Canopy Music and True Dat Sound are both gonna be receiving reviews shortly. Those True Dat Sound, Charlie Knox, and Tim Utting. Utting? I don't know how you say your name. I apologize. If you don't know Damien Kaspauer, he's kind of a legend. I literally have. Oh, it's a bit further out of reach, but I have your two game audio books as well, man. I'm moving those. I'm not giving those away. Heck no. Yeah, Damien's been in the game for a long time. I don't know if you want to like say your credits in the chat, man. I couldn't do him justice. I don't know your entire history, but he's been at like. Oh man, I know that for a long time. I was Utting, thank you. I know that I looked at your credits when I first started in audio, or like in the first few years, and I was like, my god, this guy has been everywhere. Like ridiculous. It's very, very humbling. So LCL Lost Chocolate Lab. I'm gonna dox you on stream. Sorry, man. It's on your phone number and stuff. Sound effects wizard. There it is. Okay, put that aside. Can I read this? Do you mind? I kind of want to. So this is a leaflet that came inside. It's like a little. There's two papers. Looks like 2 papers. Yeah, 2 of them. And it's a. I guess it's a resume. It's a cover letter of sorts. It's kind of generic, I guess. But and then like current projects and stuff. And the back is. Yeah, like this is like a kind of one sheet. It's kind of 2, man. Long resume. All right. I'm gonna pause this a second so I can get through this. So, salutations. You hold in your hand a sound effects and audio implementation demo reel that contains an interactive web-based interface for accessing examples of work I have done for games and other interactive media. It includes a short video of implemented in-game sound effects, project overviews and responsibilities, voiceover examples, music clips, and more. There is also a video-only DVD for ease and convenience. Before you get down to it, I would like to take a minute and let you know how passionate I am about sound. No kidding. And the possibility of enhancing unique forms of entertainment through intelligent sound design. You see, I've been living and breathing it ever since I tuned in to the unconscious elements that surround us in everyday life. Randomness, variance, the infinite possibilities. It is my hope that we can build interactive experiences and attempt to reach the level of detail present in everyday life. As a sound designer, it is my goal to accent and contribute to immersion through the communication of sound as emotion, and continue to advocate for the continued attention to detail in interactive sound. It is with this passion that I come to you, looking for an opportunity to work and collaborate with your team to create rich sound worlds to match your creations. Let me know if there's a time in the near future that we can get together to throw some ideas around. I look so casual. I look forward to discussing your future audio development plans. Sincerely, Lost Chocolate Lab. Yeah, killer. I can't listen to your stuff, man. But look at this disc. What would I even do with this? Audio, video, data, CDR. This thing is... I've never even seen something like this. Am I just out of the loop? Well, anyways. I'm going to try and find a way to get what's on this thing off of this thing. And perhaps for a later segment of Real Talk, we can We can glance through. Put it in the GameCube. This is my GameCube demo reel. Oh, man. Okay, well, I unfortunately can't look at all of it right now, but I definitely want to at some point, now that I found it again. I thought I had lost it. I was too embarrassed to admit this to Damien. All right, well, thank you for letting me read that on stream. I'm going to give her one of these, and I guess we'll carry on. So, hey, everyone. Thanks for rolling in and hearing Damien's stuff. Also, you should do a guest hosting at some point, man. That would be killer. I would just be quiet the entire time and let you just drop knowledge bombs. Oh my god. Okay, well now we're watching this. How are we? Can I even do that? 1 second. I need to I don't have a good way of doing this. No, I do. Here we go. My chat's on the wrong computer right now. It's not the one that you're looking at. Yeah, I can do this. This is what that CD is? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what you're saying, then I can do this. Please. There we go. Okay, here it is. Wait, I'm gonna pause. I'm pausing it. Turn it way up. And okay, so thanks for the Throwback Thursday. Yeah, exactly. How convenient. Is that how you sent people demo reels in 2004? I mean, my first reel was also complete. I mean, I almost said also trash. Like, it's not trash. It was. I will just say that mine was trash. Full stop. And it was also on a CDR-W, and it just had here's a short film I made that has nothing to do with games, and here is a music track I wrote for a remix contest that is not appropriate for games, and here is this very rough. And the only reason I got that job is because I just harassed and just persistently and repeatedly contacted that studio until they hired me. That's what happened. So it was not on merit alone, or even in part, I don't think. So let's 368 views. Let's go. May 2012. That recent? 2012? Wow. Or is that oh no 2006. Okay, so uploaded past that point. This is the reel on the CD. Okay, let's go. We're doing this. I apologize to Canopy Music and to TrueDat Sound, but this is very important. Okay, let's go.
Hello, I would like to welcome you to an overview of Game Audio Works by Damien Kaspauer. Sound effects wizard and implementation theorist for interactive media. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is iCat. I am a research platform developed by Philips Research Technologies for studying human-robot interaction. I can express a full range of emotions, and Damien has created a corresponding sound to match my responses. Confirmation. Deny. Thinking. Confused. Alarm. Bored. Someday I may be used as an intelligent friend in your home, to assist you with daily tasks, such as environmental adjustments, accessing the internet, email and game playing. On the note of game playing, let me guide you through some other recent projects of Damien.
This is pretty sick, honestly. Moving on. Whoa. I don't know what any of that was.
This concludes our presentation. Please contact Damien at lostchocolatelaB.com to discuss the future. Good day.
I love the song. Oh. What was that finish, man? It was Katamari, but like, what was that? Okay, well. Thanks, buddy. Holy. Wow, 2006. It's pretty... It's pretty crazy, honestly. I'd like to see some more demo reel stuff from that era. I'm very curious kind of how that differs in terms of like the tools you had at your disposal to even make this thing, you know? Because now I would like, you know, I would be hard on somebody for some of the transitions and stuff now. But like, I don't even know what you would use at that point, what you would have access to. But anyways, yeah, thanks a lot for showing that off. So iCat was built by Philips. Age of Chivalry went on to become Team Chivalry. It was a Half-Life 2 total conversion mod. Half-Life Source had just come out. Yeah. Yeah. So Treasure Hunt was a mobile location-based game that used MIDI and sound canvas audio on flip phones. I did a live performance at a club where folks played Katamari, and I processed it with my pedal board. Sick. I mean, yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Like, Lost Chocolate Lab is kind of a big deal of sorts. I'm just gonna go to your homepage really quick. Here is his stuff these days. He wrote these two books that I have over there across the room. The game audio podcast, footstep movement sound study. Where's your credits, man? Was this your credits here? Yeah, projects, current and past. ArenaNet, War Remains, Audio Kinetic. Yeah, there you go. So working there. Software. I don't know, even knew that. You're at Wise right now, man. I didn't even know this. I don't think. I apologize. Plants vs Zombies 2, freaking Secrets of the Empire, Peggle 2, Dead Space 3, Uncharted 3, Force Unleashed 1 and 2. This is not an exhaustive list. I've seen your credits and they're ridiculous, man. Anyways, we have limited time for this stream. I thank you for being here and dropping this in there. I mean, a big thing that people tend to forget is when you look at folks who are doing it, and are really active in the industry and have a laundry list of credits and such. Like everyone started somewhere, you know, and sometimes it's pretty fun to look back to what that looked like. But the point is that no one begins by like absolutely killing it. Like you need to start somewhere. So, thank you everyone for being here. Riley, chillin'. Benny Maru, chillin'. Pop L2 spam, as always. Thanks, yo. F-O-R-K. Have I seen you before? F-O-R... Like fork, you mean? F-O-R-K? Fork? Strong handle. I think you might be new here. Goblin Cave, yo. Richard F. Mod, you know I love seeing your name in the chat. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, everyone. Nard Shops, wow. Good to see ya. Derek as well, sub over subs there. Reverb in the Void. Awesome. That's is that Jeff? Is that Jeff Bryce? Reverb in the Void? I think it is. I feel like I'm perhaps misdistributing this. I might just be making that up entirely. MX Joe, it's not Jeff Bryce. I apologize. Oh, Jeff Bryce is Pumodi. I apologize. Okay, so Canopy Music. We have 2 reels today. If this is your first time seeing Real Talk, this is a stream. Yeah, Joe Brett, so close. This is a stream. We look at demo reel content from folks in game audio looking to gain a little more traction in the industry and in their personal careers. So they might be, you know, fresh out of school students. It might be people from film looking to get into games. Regardless of what it is, we're just here to give some feedback, some constructive feedback and criticism to say, well, if you are applying to company X and you're not hearing back, here are some ideas as to why that might be. Because they're not going to tell you. Because if they tell you, it invites conflict, and it's just not very time effective. It's a bad use of their time to tell people applying why they aren't getting hired. It's fully understandable. It's just kind of unfortunate. That's all. So we look at the content submitted to our stream from the standpoint of a recruiter or, you know, potential employer, hirer, or whatever, and we go in fully blind. So I haven't looked at any of the content that we're going to look at today, apart from just like the few seconds it took to save the link. So we're going in fully blind, all of us together. And today we have Tim Utting from the UK, and we got Charlie, was that right? Charlie Knox? Charlie Knox from... I don't know, from somewhere. Perhaps they can tell us in the chat. I should zoom in these as well. It's pretty small. Let's go 1 to 50 on that one. And we actually only have a... Okay, well, first things first. So in order to keep things relatively on the rails, we have some criteria we kind of blast through here just to kind of give an idea of what we're looking at and what potential employers might be looking for. So first being presentation, we're looking at if there is a website like True Dat Sound has their site. So as far as the site goes, we look at presentation in general in terms of like aesthetics and navigation and stuff. We're not looking to critique web design too much, but it's important that, for example, the most important thing is like shoved in your face because people have very limited time when they're doing hiring. You know, there might be 100 or several hundred applications, and if that's the case, it is not unusual for someone to jump onto your page and leave within 10 seconds. If they're like, well, it's not going to work out. And it's not rude or mean or anything or unreasonable. It's just that perhaps you haven't done an effective job of using that time efficiently so as to best grip their attention and hold it. So then in general for the demo reel itself for presentation, we're looking at kind of the flow of the thing, how long it is, if it holds your attention, what the transitions are like, what the titling is like, if there's enough info, if there's too much info, kind of everything besides the actual audio itself. And then to material selection, we're looking at what that content in the demo reel looks like or on the portfolio page looks like and what that might suggest about your past work history, your current skill sets, and your future ambitions. And content quality is kind of when we're actually getting into the sound of the thing. And if your sound is good, if it's hitting that industry standard of awesome, that's kind of always evolving and hopefully always, you know, always raising. And if there's room for improvement, we'll try and give you an idea of where that might be. And when I say we, it's myself. I'm Kevin Regamy, creative director at Power Up Audio, and I worked on a ton of stuff recently. I guess Celeste was like the last thing that we released, like the farewell that I worked on like kind of intensely, the farewell chapter. And all you in the chat too, of course. You all have a valuable opinions and such, so feel free to share it. It's a very kind of communal, constructive exercise we're all doing it together. So I saw Canopy Music in the chat. Tim saying he's super anxious, but like, yeah, there's no need. This is all a very positive endeavor here. We're not trying to like roast you. That's not the idea. We're roasting Damien. We're not going to roast you. Don't worry. That's not the goal here. It's all right. Okay, and distinction is, are you standing out? And that could be for your sound design or your music. It could be for just your site being particularly slick, or it could be that you have a cool photo on your background for your site, or you have an interesting approach to the reel, or you have some cool stuff you did in terms of like, I made a level in Unreal and put sound in it. You can stand out in any number of ways, and it's really important to, because obviously in the effort of getting a job, you want to stand out from the pack. But besides that, even if you don't get hired this time around, say that you apply somewhere where they're like, we're always hiring, and they don't really need you right now. When it comes time for them to need somebody, then who do they recall? Like perhaps, who's that girl with the awesome website? Like, it'd be her, you know? And it wouldn't even be that you had to reapply. You were just remembered at all. And since there are so many people that apply, it's real easy just to kind of blur in with everyone else on their like template Wix pages. So, shall we? Let's do it. So, we have two people today. We have Charlie Knox, truedatsound.tumblr.com. We don't often see Tumblr pages. That's for myself, it's like not a great foot forward, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And we have Tim with he actually gave us 3 links. So it's Canopy Music, like again in the chat, and we have a Vimeo link, a SoundCloud link, and the CV link separately. So in general, we might see like, I don't know, let's go like Aaron Bauer's audio. It just popped in my mind. I'm like, who should we go to? How about like the top of the list, the double A first name, like alphabetically actually. So here, just as a random example, totally arbitrary example. This is like a fully self-contained website. We got like the reel up top, the about, we got, the information about these projects and stuff. And then we have, like that's kind of all he wants us to know is like all right here, right? And it's very easy, whereas the 3 links isn't quite as effective for obvious reasons. So it's a bit harder to, here's the thing. We'll start with Tim, okay? We'll start with Tim. We'll do like half an hour of Tim, about half an hour of Charlie afterwards, okay? So I know it's kind of late for, I don't know where you are at, Charlie. If you'd answered in the chat, I may have missed it. I apologize. But yeah, I know it's late there, so we'll just keep rolling here. So Tim, from the perspective of a potential recruiter, here is the thing. It's a little challenging when it comes to like 3 links like this. So this page is just a Google Doc. Sure. This page is SoundCloud, and while this top image and perhaps your icon or like your profile are different than other SoundCloud pages, this page on the whole just looks like SoundCloud. So in terms of like the distinction thing, it basically does nothing to stand out. So it's not that you're losing points there, you're just really not gaining points at all, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a very neutral thing. And then for the Vimeo thing, it's like similarly, it's just a video. So this could be, if this reel kicks ass, then it's very possible that you might get called and you're good to go. But the thing is, having a site like, we'll bring up Aaron's again just really quick. Having a site like this isn't my favorite site. I'll tell you that. Aaron knows this. But he did some really cool stuff, like building this level, and showing us what he did and stuff. So despite the site not being like mind blowing amazing, it's all like self-contained and the content's all here. And the fact that he has a site at all and he's taking the time to put it all in one place just says to me that he's serious. If the site was also like incredible and designed like amazingly, then it would be even more clear that he's serious. But with 3 pages like this, even if you are serious, for someone who doesn't know who you are and doesn't know your name, and you just like send them your stuff, the very first impression is not the best it could be potentially, because it's not even that it's not that they won't judge your work on its merit. It's that the way you're presenting yourself is being measured against the way that everyone else who's applying for the same job is presenting themselves, right? So that's kind of what you need to think about when you're crafting your own content. You're not just making your stuff look good, you're making it measure up to everyone else. So I would recommend, if you have time, I know I saw Taco Bell in the chat there, our resident web development guru, was asking if you have a site. And yeah, I mean, it is. I think that it would definitely be a good next step for you, just before you even get into your content. It'd be an excellent. Hey, Bowers Audio, there you are. Aaron, check this out. I'm gonna Control-Shift-T to open our last tab. There we are. All right. Yeah, I would recommend you find a home for your stuff, because that's just going to make you look more serious. That's it. Yeah, Aaron, I thought of your stuff because in the alphabetized list of Real Talk alumni, the double A was first. Bowers Up Audio. Has no one said that yet? Thanks, Jeff. There he is. I'm going to give you one of these. Okay, so we have the Vimeo link. We have a 2-minute and 14-second reel. It's a bit longer than we usually aim for. We like to aim, I mean, we is a very broad term. I prefer reels in the 1-minute range. And the reason being, it's like a teaser trailer for you. So you just you say your piece. And here's the benefit of having a website too, Tim, is that you don't need to put all your content in this one reel. You can just put like the really, really juicy bits. And then with that, like, you know, with that compelling 1-minute, like, you know, quick teaser, hopefully you've successfully gotten those hooks in, and that person watching your reel for the first time, that recruiter or whomever, will say, oh, damn, like, I want to see more of what Tim's got. And perhaps you have one clip in your reel that they found particularly compelling, and they want to learn more about that one. So they have, much like Aaron has, you may have like your content down below. Like, oh, here's the projects. You want to learn more about like Farcaster Villa? Like, here it is, right? And then it's right there. Whereas currently, if I watch your stuff and I like one piece, either you have a full piece in here that might not hold my attention because it's not the most relevant thing to me, or I just have limited time to deal with, or whatever. I have to get a lunch. You know, I have a lunch to get to or something. Or I like a piece and I want to learn more, and I just have nowhere to go. I have no recourse. I can't like go find something else that has more information on this thing I liked. So while the CV is a good additional step as far as here's more information about me, it's not going to give me more information about what you're doing like work-wise. So SoundCloud is the exact same thing. SoundCloud is not the worst thing to have, but it's not the best either. And a big part of that, or a big reason for that, is that this, you know, if you're looking to work in games are an interactive medium, and SoundCloud alone it can show things like I can mix with clarity and I have creative ideas and such, but it struggles to show things like I can work in an interactive medium effectively, and I have interesting ideas when it comes to how to immerse players using interactive content. So, I mean, it's all linear, right? So is your reel. So those two things it's a little challenging to communicate if you do have those skills. Even if the content is the kind of content that you could implement in an interactive soundscape or you know, medium, it's still just a waveform on SoundCloud, you know. So okay, well let's go to the reel first. You know, full screen. Just a heads up, Tim, how we operate on Real Talk. And turn my sidechain off and turn audio up on Chrome. How we operate on Real Talk is, if there comes a point in the reel where had I not been streaming and I was just like, you know, like laptop in bed looking at stuff or whatever, and no one's watching me, and if there comes a point where in that scenario I might want to just like go, just like close the window or skip ahead, I will pause it and tell you, which has been a little painful in the past, I'm sure, for some people. But ideally, we'll come back to that and we'll talk about why we may have had that feeling and kind of how we might be able to resolve the losing. In that case, you're just losing control of your viewer. Ideally, you want to guide the viewer through the entire thing and hold their attention, right? And then have like next steps for them to do, like to do after they've seen your reel, like go look at that content or go learn more about you or whatever. So enough rambling from me. Let's go ahead and watch this thing. Yes, 3, 2, 1, and. Okay, at minute 8, I would be doing this right now, just out of curiosity what's coming ahead. So I'm a little bit distracted by the length, but we'll carry on. I guess the idea is like to pause here. I cannot get through this text, but we'll carry on. All right. Hello. Clock Vice, by the way. No, I don't want to. Okay. Claps in the chat, please. Well, thanks, Tim. Okay, so yeah, this definitely smacks of I suspect that you had in your head, I need to put all my cool stuff in this one video. And I actually don't hate the flow of it, honestly. It's a little more creative than some we see, and I'm kind of into it. There's kind of two approaches to doing reels, and one of them, when it's more fast-paced like that, it's kind of like, hey, look at these like cool sounds I've made in these different circumstances or different contexts. And that can be really interesting and like artistically interesting when you're just like watching it. It can be like kind of, it holds your attention because it moves around so much. But from the aspect of like showing, hey, this is what I would do at the helm of a project like this, the first clip being a little bit longer is probably best in that regard, but the rest are like, they're really short. We're just gonna watch again really quick here. This is a presentation chat right now, okay? So we're talking about just like how the flow of the thing goes. We'll ignore the sound entirely for the time being, but here's the gist. We'll press play again. I'll turn my sidechain back on too, just for conversational purposes. Right, so we have, I mean, about 15 seconds less. So actually, yeah, less. I thought it was longer. So like 13 seconds or so, 11? Yeah, of the first clip, and it's gone. And then we have... Again, like 9 seconds of that. And then like 3 or 4 seconds of that. Yeah, so you kind of, like, you get the point. They're all pretty prompt, you know? And like the Smart Everyday thing, thanks Destin. Just a single clip. Like, it's, again, it's interesting creatively, but for games, I feel like it's a little risky to take this approach because, yeah, I feel like I've seen this now. If I saw this, I have seen this now, and I haven't really gained an idea of like what a full game, like interactive scene, like sounds like with you in charge, because they're just so prompt. Like they're just up and it's gone. I think the Hyperlight kind of stood out the most to me in terms of like the most things. You had that UI section briefly afterwards and stuff, and the death. But overall, it was cool. There was some interesting stuff in here. I just don't know what it would be like if you were doing sound for like a project and what you could bring to that project. It's just challenging. So generally, what we most often see, and again, this is all just like my dummy opinion. I have worked on in various capacities like several hundred games, but it is only my opinion. And we've had guest hosts on this stream who have been like, yeah, man, like show me a 6-minute reel. I'll totally watch it. And the thing is, if it kicks ass, like they're going to watch it. It's just that most people who have a need for a reel, that is, they aren't getting jobs through like referral. Most people who have a reel don't yet have enough content or enough to say to justify longer reels. And so you really risk losing attention if you have a longer content. So typically what we see is like a minute of here's some things I've done, and it's maybe like 5, you know, I mean, at least 3, probably no more than like 7 things. 7's pushing it. And you'd have, rather than all the credits here at the end, you have it on each clip. So you have like, you know, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Here it is. The thing is also, if you're applying for a game audio gig and the first thing you open with is Rogue One, it's sending mixed messages as well. So just be very aware of who your audience is. If your audience is like Cloud Imperium working on Star Citizen, then this isn't the worst option, but it's not the best either. Like there are games that have a similar soundscape and context that you could design instead, and that would immediately communicate not only your sound abilities but also your sensibilities for gaming also, and your affinity for like the gaming medium. This being the first thing they see, I mean, besides the Avalanche thing, it doesn't really. How do I say this? Like, it doesn't really communicate what it probably should communicate in the first 10 seconds. My first GDC, Scott Gershon, who's another legend of game audio, he said that in the first 10 seconds of your demo reel, you need to make me want to hear more. And that's a bit intimidating, but it's true. And so here's the first 10 seconds. I kind of like the opening, honestly. It's interesting. Wide and expansive. It's cool. But we're at 10 seconds now. And now we're like, hey, you gotta maybe want to see more. And the first thing we see is film. So it's a little bit risky is all, okay? Yeah, Tony, like I was saying, the flow is cool. I like the flow, but it's maybe just too quick on some stuff. It just is very quick. So it's a risk that Tim is taking basically by by having like not that much, but yeah. And the thing is, Tim, on each clip, the reason you should probably put titling on the clips is because until the end, I don't know what you worked on and what you didn't work on. So for all I know, you worked on Rogue One. Like, you didn't. But having this here, it's like sound design real. And then you have, it does say all content for demonstration purposes only. Like, sure. To me, this doesn't really mean anything because every demo reel is for demonstration purposes only, whether it's stuff you worked on or not. So if this means I didn't work on any of this stuff, it's all been redesigned, I don't know if this sentence conveys that. And even so, I would recommend that you just put it on the clip. Like, no one's concerned about like not seeing this part of the clip, like in behind the words, you know, it's totally fine. And it's much better in terms of like skipping back. Like, oh, what's that thing again? Skip here, find the name of the thing, the redesign, whatever. Like, all the information they need is right there. And especially when you get around to doing actual work on projects where it's not only for like redesign demo purposes, it's actually your content, then you can put right there, like, I was the composer, I was a sound designer, I did implementation, I did voice direction, like whatever you did, it can be right there. Whereas right now, it's just question marks, because I have no idea if you worked on Ori in the Blind Forest or if you worked on Hyperlight. Like, again, in both cases, I know you didn't because I know those designers. But like, we're not talking about me. We're talking about like any potential recruiter, right? So, yeah. Anything that's not games, I would question if it needs to be there. If your goal is to get a job in games, I would encourage you to have a games-focused demo reel. That's a big one, okay? I do like some of your more abstract stuff. Like, this is cool right here. I like this. It's a cool little transition. Again, it's from an artistic standpoint, I like the flow of this reel a lot. It's just risky. All right. Okay. And then getting into this stuff, I did stop briefly. I paused briefly and said that I absolutely did not have time to read this stuff through. And I'm like watching the pretty lights and stuff, you know? But I didn't have time to read all this through. I assume, like you were saying, or like I was saying, that you would assume people like pause it and read it and then listen again. I think that there might, again, if you have a website, you can do stuff like, Aaron, did you do this? I can't recall if you did it or not. You talked through this thing, right?
Hi, this is Aaron. In this video, I'll be discussing the sound design and FMOD implementation for my project Farcaster Villa.
Awesome. I love this stuff, man. Like, talking through stuff is so much more effective than this. And the thing is, I know you worked very hard on this stuff and you're very proud of it as far as your Max MSP stuff. So like, you absolutely should show it off and say, look how cool this thing I made is. And like, for me personally, like, this is definitely not my area of expertise. So it for sure goes over my head in some respect, but like, I fully respect it. And I think it's very cool you're showing it off, but I think you can do a better job of explaining it. This kind of thing is like wonderful to like do a walkthrough. So being able to have like a side video on your website being like, here's like me talking about my band mod, you know, morphable frequency ring modulator with bandpass on second operator. Like, you can say these things, and not only is it more effective in terms of getting the information across, it lets people learn about you and kind of meet you in a sense, and they can kind of like consume and interpret your passion for what you're doing through how you present it. Because, yeah, the thing is, all this stuff here, like, we have a SoundCloud page, which looks like every SoundCloud page. We have a Google Doc with your name on it, and we have a Vimeo link with, your name. But I have no idea anything about you, like in terms of your passion for audio and stuff. I haven't read your CV yet, mind you, but the thing is, like, generally, it's really effective to like grip people's attention with your reel, and then they're like, oh man, like, who's this guy? And they'll like look into your stuff, and then they start reading about your bio and stuff, right? Like, this is your experience, and I guess this is a bio, I suppose. Sounds like it. Reaper. I guess you probably can't read this right now, right? It's too small. I will. We don't often look at CVs and resumes on Real Talk, but I do want to glance at this because it's all you gave us. So, okay. So Leeds Beckett University, BSc Music Technology. Great. Okay. Wonderful. Extensive experience, sound design, music for 8 years. I have a high level of proficiency in Reaper and several years experience in other DAW software. Okay, cool. I have knowledge of plugins from companies. Yeah, sure. Okay. And then, so you did freelance 3D artist, a freelance 3D artist and mastering engineer. Okay. Digital and analog audio research. Form of, I believe doing this form of, do you mean causal or casual? Causal research is conducive to creating higher quality productions, attaining a greater mastery over my craft. Okay, like, yeah, sure. And parkour and skateboarding and climbing. That's pretty cool. Good on you. Yeah, again, just in the effort of distinction, standing out from a crowd, I think just giving as much of yourself to the world is like, it's not going to hurt in terms of like showing, again, giving people an idea of like who you are and stuff, you know? We'll get a True Dat sound in a second, and we'll see how Charlie presents himself to the world that doesn't know him. Before we do, I want to listen to some of your stuff here. Let's go. And again, being SoundCloud, the first thing someone will do is press play on this top one. So there you go. Oh. Cool. Listen to like a couple more here. Please? Oh, that is instances. My bad. I saw a lyre and thought it was playing lyre. My bad. Yo, these drills in bass, pretty sick. There was some Apex in there. Yeah, I'm full on gonna put this on after the stream and like pack boxes with it. What is happening here? Oh, I see. I rolled over my cable. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so I mean, awesome. Yeah, super cool. And this kind of, I suspected it was going to be awesome, actually. And maybe that's a weird thing to say, but on your demo reel, there was a lot. So the abstract sound design that Equinox Fracture was talking about in the demo reel, I kind of assumed you're probably going to be pretty practiced in like making cool sounds. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's awesome. So good on you. That's super cool. So that said, I do want to say that I think your realistic sound design is probably the one thing that stood out as being weakest in this reel. Like the sound of things happening, like tangible things. So for example, like Ori with movement. Well, we'll listen to it once more through. We have like a couple minutes left to talk about content, so let's just see what we got. It's kind of suffering from the thing where people design like 30 to 50% of what they could be designing for like the content of sound, either the things like the events that should be covered or the frequency like range that should be addressed. That's so fast. Like this clip, for example, is really cool. It stands out as being interesting. I love the sound of the spikes coming up. Like again, yeah, I see Popcorn Pizza Music in the chat was like, I see you like bass frequencies. This sounds really cool. I love these little spikes coming up, dude. Really sick. I think that the is really bold for the main character, like for the protagonist, as you are hearing that the entire game, and it's dare I say gonna get exhausting for the player. For anything you hear that often, you gotta be really careful about what kind of presence you're giving that sound in the mix. For the entire game is gonna be too much. But some stuff in here is really, really cool. Like for stuff that happens less often, like that ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk of the spikes. Oh, magnifique, lovely. Same thing there, super cool. UI sounds awesome. And it's and what I love about this is it's totally different than what the game sounds like, which is so cool. When you hear something that's like actually compelling and it doesn't sound like the game, it's very refreshing. Whereas Ori is trying to sound just realistic and nice like the game is, and the thing is, Ori sounds like phenomenal. So to take on Ori as a redesign project is already kind of bold, Tim. They've won like audio awards and stuff, you know. And their team is incredible. That's Wabi Sabi Sound, I believe, like Andy Lackey and others. Jump's fine, but like it's so short that it almost shouldn't even be in the reel. I can't even comment on it. There's like some ambience, the water, like the jump and zap, and that's the entire clip. It's like it's just not enough to warrant being in the reel at all, probably, unless you have a longer clip. Because your goal here is saying like, here is the soundscape I have crafted, right? And there's just not enough here to fully suggest anything in that respect. So, yeah, and Gareth Coker for Ori is a big deal too. We're talking about this clip here after this one. So the reverb thing, I heard a lot of verb in your other content too. Be careful of that. It's a cool way to transition through clips. I like it, but it definitely did distract me on this one, like the whip, and then like wow, it's off through the hole. It's like a 7-second release time on the reverb. So here's the thing: this clip, I like the reverb idea. Tim, just be careful with, just how much you're doing that, because it can get distracting, of course. Or it can get distracting, or it can end up covering up and just being like washy and being like, oh, it sounds so rich and juicy, when really you should probably be moving on to the next thing, you know? I want to just make a comment in this last clip, because this is probably the most realistic thing in your reel, apart from like maybe the Star Wars stuff. And this is like pretty, I mean, it's pretty weak in terms of like fully fleshed out sound design. So we'll talk a little bit about this one, okay? Yeah, it's just not it's it again smacks like the whole 30 to 50% designed, where you removed all the sound from this clip and you start building it up from ground zero. And once you have what you have here, it's like, oh, it sounds so there's so much sound now, and I've synced so many things. I know how many hours I put into this, so it feels like it's really rich, but really you have a lot more work to go. Like the run and jump and swings and stuff can have a lot more nuance in terms of Foley. I like the Foley of the armor and stuff you have going on here, and the wooden staff hits. They're really cool, but there can just be more in terms of like small movements and such. Like those footsteps are so tiny, but like, and the jump has nothing there. I would encourage you, again, this is like every week on Real Talk. I apologize to the regulars, but just close your eyes and see if you can hear everything happening. It's every single moment of the story from moment to moment. Yeah, and it's the whooshes. Whooshes are a challenging thing. Like these whooshes here, a staff like that, I don't think would sound like that. Like it's very almost like feather dustery, you know? It's like as opposed to like a dowel for sure be tonal in its swings. Like if you just go to your local Home Depot or whatever and just like swing a dowel and see what it sounds like, and it's probably gonna not be quite like that. Whooshes they're very challenging to get right. They're super challenging in terms of weight and material and like air displacement and like perforation and the thing you're swinging and stuff. It's challenging. So I don't fault you too much for not quite getting it right, because I'm still learning. 10 years in, I still can't get whooshes right sometimes. But yeah, this clip absolutely stood out to me as being like in the most need of additional work, and I think it's just because it seems like you really your strong points are in like abstract sound design, like with the Hyperlight clip. So yeah, just try to dig your heels in more on those details. Okay. Okay, so real quick, I know we're already past 5. I apologize, Charlie. We're just gonna finish up with Tim here. So again, presentation wise, please, if you got a website, Tim, I would love to see it, honestly. Just having a single place where people can go and see everything about you. Excuse me, and have a quick demo reel up front, just teaser trailer being like, hey, here's why you're here. Here it is. Check it out. I'm awesome. And now look at all this other stuff that I have here that's really cool to look at, and will tell you everything you ever need to know about what I'm working on and what my ambitions are. That'll absolutely help you. Absolutely. There's no downside, basically. And again, like, nice work on the tunes, but you know that. You don't need me to say you're awesome. You know you're awesome. And then for material stuff, just again, focus in games. If you're looking to work in games, focus in games. If you want to work in film instead, that's fine. Just perhaps have a separate reel for film stuff, because realize that who you're giving the thing to is your audience, and whatever's in the thing you're giving should be most relevant to your audience. So if you apply it some, post sound design studio, then yeah, by all means, give them the film reel. But games wise, again, just show that you're serious in games. Otherwise people start wondering if you have split ambition and split passion. Content quality, we just finished covering that. The last thing we were talking about. And distinction, I would say in this very moment, you're not standing out quite yet, mainly because we have like a Vimeo page, SoundCloud page, and a Google Doc. It's not the best foot forwards, but I mean, your abstract sound design is super good, and I'm very into it. Like I want to see more of what Hyperlight would sound like with you at the helm. It's a really cool. It's a bit like Goner-esque, where Goner is like so synthy and sounds so good, and like won audio awards for it. Martin Cavalet just killed it. So this kind of approach is not the most often seen thing, and I think it's something that the games can never get enough of. So good on you. Just if you do want to get more into the kind of realistic sound design, like with the Ori thing, then just dig in hard on details in terms of weight and material and so forth. Okay. Thanks a lot, man. And I usually say at the end of the stream, I know you might just want to go to bed though, because it's light there. Heads up, if you do want to ask any more questions or have any more clarifications or anything you're thinking, then of course feel free, as always, just to reach out on Twitter or whatever. And if I have time, I will absolutely try and answer and help you out, okay? All right, cheers. Let's move on to True Dat sound. It's Charlie Knox, as I have since learned from the About page. Here it is. It's really small, even at 150. Let's go 200 instead. Can you read that now? It's still pretty small, eh? It's definitely small. We're going to go 100%. Look how tiny this is. It's really small. Taco Bowl may have some thoughts for you. It's very possible. Okay. True Dat sound Charlie in the chat. Okay. So we got, this is again a .tumblr page. I don't personally, I don't love the .tumblr.com being in the URL that you gave me. The very first thing I thought was, okay, so this guy is like medium serious. That's the very first thought I had when you gave me your link. Thanks for the feedback, Kevin, and everyone in the chat. We'll be making use of it all. Cheers, Tim. Thank you for submitting. The .tumblr.com is similar to like the Wix site .truedatsound.com/Wix site, or like whatever the hell the URL is, when it's like obviously a free page or something like that. Then I'm cheap, says Charlie. Yeah, so when it's a free page like that, it tends to convey a bit of, or not it tends to, but it risks communicating a bit of that kind of feeling. Like not so much I'm cheap, but more I'm not serious. Like not so much unlike Tim's stuff with the various pages, right? And again, it's not that you aren't serious. It's just that the communication is a big part of the application process, right? These people that you're applying to, teams and individuals and studios and such, they might not know you personally or very well. And if you have like, truedatsound.com, I think that looks better than .tumblr.com immediately, even if the content's identical. It's just like a psychology thing, probably. Again, my opinion might not be the opinion of everyone, but that's how I feel. This is 100%. We're going to go way zoomed in for the sake of real talk. Okay, 200%. Okay, so we have the main page with 6 videos. Okay. All right. And then we'll go over to the About page. We have a bio. I'll come back to that in a second. Projects, a few things. Contact, a few things. Radio. Oh, new page. Okay. Excuse me. And gigs, upcoming. Interesting. I have never seen a gigs page on a site submitted to us. Okay, so up front, let's actually first learn about Charlie. About. My name is Charlie Knox. I make music as part of semi-specific ensemble. That's a link. I'll click. And do sound design and composition work under the name True Dat Sound. That's where we already are, right? Yeah, you probably don't need to link that one. We're already there. I have a monthly radio show called Practice, Good Practice, and book monthly gigs in the Rum Shack in Glasgow. I used to use the name True Dat Sound and Light for audio-visual work, but now I just bundle it all under semi-specific ensemble. I also like to DJ and am affiliated with the Floored Music Collective. Okay, so I do like that you're linking this stuff. Real quick, let's talk presentation in general. Hey, Aaron Homie, chillin'. Welcome back. Good to see you again. So, I have noticed several detail-y things presentation-wise, and again, this is not a web design or like website review stream, but realize it's really important to consider details in everything you're doing, because when people like myself, let's say you're applying to Power Up Audio, right? Just hypothetically, if you're applying to me personally, I have something of a heavy. I weigh attention to detail, more strongly than some perhaps. And when I see things like, for example, I'm just going to list a few things I saw here. So front page, I see 2 clips, like 2 thumbnails that have the same. I saw it in the chat too. 2 thumbnails, or I guess preview images, that are the same. And this made me think it was a mistake. It's not a mistake. I see now, show reel 2020, but it says the same thing, but music only and sound redesign only. Okay, sure, I see that. I can't select this text. What's going on here? That's so weird. Okay, and then we have, although it should probably be, so here's the thing. You say sound redesign, and then you say music only. Over here you say rescore and redesign. So that's an inconsistency in terms of what you're saying. This should probably say rescore instead, just for consistency's sake. Yeah, further, you've got like sound show reel, no capital S, but capital S here. Older show reel, you can just ditch entirely. It's not a detail. Sorry, we'll move on and get back to that in a second. About, we have about here as a header. It's a link. It links where we already are. It's kind of like, okay. It's got a period, right? And a lowercase a. Projects, no period, lowercase p. Contact, period, uppercase C. So I saw that immediately. Further, we have on your about page, we've got a linked space right there. We have a lowercase I, now I. We have just like small things like that kind of all over. And it's not like this is going to sink your ship, But when there are details like this that are noticeable, so for example, I like the idea of this being like lowercase about as a heading. That's cool. Like as a style thing, why not? But then it's got to be consistent to show that you have a strong sense of like creative direction, not only for sound. Or it's not to show that you can like build a cool website. It's to show that you have a strong sense of direction, regardless of if it's like your site or sound. Because if you have sick details covered here, that can only speak well to your audio sensibilities too, So, and conversely, if there's details missing, then it's not that far of a stretch for people to think that your details, or that you might also lack an attention to detail when it comes to your work ethic or your sound design or whatever. And we've had guest hosts on the show who said like, yep, one typo in a committed, in a file that someone like commits to the server for an entire company can like crash the game for 500 people. So that detail, it has like ramifications. So if, let's say your work is amazing and someone else's work is amazing, and theirs has details and yours doesn't, as far as like covered, then you're just losing out, right? So again, it's not hurting you, it's just not helping you at all. Okay? That's my details rant. Thank you for listening. We'll go on to about, so Nard Shops is saying, this may just be me, there's a lot of links to click. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that way. What are these things you linked? Here's a Bandcamp for semi-specific ensemble, okay? We got Practice Good Practice. That's, oh no, this is where we already are. What is this thing? This is the radio link? Is it the same thing as this? Okay, yeah, I mean, okay, then if you have this link on your About page, you probably don't need a radio link also. Again, just think about who your audience is, Charlie. If you're looking to be hired by somebody, they probably don't need to like see a radio link at the top of the page. It's not really why they're there. It's like, if you have it on your About page, it's like, hey, here's this thing I do. It's a monthly radio show. This is absolutely cool. From an extracurricular standpoint, doing audio things that are like tangentially related to game audio, just audio in general, like radio certainly is. That's awesome. It shows that you could have in that sentence, instead of like, I have a monthly radio show called Practice Good Practice, you could say something like, I have a month, like a weekly gig where I line cook at this restaurant. Like, it has nothing to do with sound, but this does. So that's cool. The monthly gigs thing, the Rum Shack, like Rum Shack, what even is that? Like, this doesn't. I guess it's like, sure, if someone's curious, but you could just say like the Rum Shack, a Glasgow bar. I feel like links should be linking to things that are like relevant to the, it's just, I don't know. This isn't really helping me as far as link stuff goes. Oh, I see. It's highlighting in white. That's why I can't see the highlight. I used to use the name True That Sound and Light for audiovisual work. Like, okay, is this there because people might be on your page thinking, what happened to True That Sound and Light? Is that why it's there? Because I used to use the name True Dat Sound and Light for audiovisual work, but now I just bundle it all under semi-specific ensemble. So this is your light work too? What? This is a 30-minute... What is this? All right, cheers, popcorn pizza. Good to see you. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm skipping ahead. I'm doing it again. Okay, it's a Christmas jazz band special. Okay. So this sentence just confuses me, unfortunately. Like, I used to use the name True That Sound and Light for audiovisual work. Like, I just don't know. I don't know that this needs to be here because I want to know what you're doing now. I don't need to know what you were doing a while ago. And also, what you said, I'm not clear on what it means. So that's not a great place to be. I think for your bio, I'd like to know more about your location because, I mean, it does say you have monthly gigs in Glasgow, but you could probably come out with it a bit quicker, like where you are, because if people are looking to hire, it's really relevant to know where you are. Like, it's really relevant because if they're in, like, you know, Minneapolis or something like that, they're going to need to know that they need to import you if you want to, you know, work at their studio. So I would say who you are and where you are pretty promptly. And yeah, like, go on to say, like, this doesn't really say much about your game stuff. Like, I would have a little more on like your education and your passions for sound, like the unique ones. Saying like, I have a passion for game audio is like, okay, good start, but that could be in anyone's bio. So I would encourage you. I mean, bios are like, no one likes writing bios. My bio sucks. Like, it's really bad. I need to rewrite it. No one likes it, but it needs to have relevant information that is unique to you. And I think this is a little bit bare right now. So moving on, we'll go to projects. So we have semi-specific ensemble, improvised music group. Okay. Monthly radio show. Again, so capital I, improvised, and then lowercase m, p, and c. Florid music. Collective? What kind of collective? What is this? There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of assumptions being made about... What? What is that? I press control... This goes nowhere. What does this link do? Oh, here's sound and light. Okay, so... Okay. I apologize, Charlie, if I feel like if this is painful watching me trying to like navigate your stuff. But... So, okay, this is past audio. Like, this being here is probably okay. because again, it's audio visual. It's not like it's only. It's not like here's my 3D art. Like Tim was saying, it's like not super relevant to game audio hiring. It's cool and interesting, but like as a very like footnote thing, like not as a main page thing. Floored music goes nowhere. This link does not work. Heads up on that one. It says MCE temp URL in the URL. Yeah. What up? DVS3131. It's been a little while. How you been? This site is very low on pictures in general, my friend. Yeah, so we have these, like these are the images in the previews, but apart from that, there's almost nothing. Like About has nothing. Having a picture of you can't hurt, Charlie. You know, show you in your radio show or show you doing music at your monthly gig or anything. Just showing that you're doing it. You're doing audio stuff, you know? Can't possibly hurt. And again, it just helps just cement you and entrench you in people's memories if you're applying again or in the future or something. Projects has no pictures of any kind. Having an idea of, you know, your past audiovisual work. I appreciate your minimalist approach, but I think that it's maybe a bit too far. Like the pendulum could swing back a bit. Contact. Email, Twitter, do they work? Let's see. Does this work? It does. And email is just like a mail to, yeah, gmail.com. And SoundCloud. Oh, let's go see that in a second. Okay. Oh, it doesn't even work. This page doesn't work. So that link is also broken. One more try. Yep. I see what happened. I can correct it right here. But your link is broken. Be aware. I would say at this point that there's enough detailed concerns that I would be going like like it's a lot of stuff, dude. So let's hear this in a moment. Radio goes away from the page. Also, if you do insist on having things like this that go elsewhere, I would recommend. Let me see if it even works for 1 second here. Yeah, so here's like our page, right? And we have like us. This is here, project, services, media, recognition, contact. That's all here. Live stream goes, you guessed it, to twitch.tv/powerupaudio. Here we are, right? Contact. That's all here. There he is. So this, if I click, I'm not control clicking. I'm just clicking it. Opens new tab, right? So they stay on your page. If I click this, it just navigates away entirely. So it's a bit of a risky move. Just have it open a new tab if you need to have that there. And that goes for all your links, actually. Try and keep your tab open. You know, get yourself hired. And gigs, I don't know. It's like fine, I guess. I'm not sure how many people on your website will be like making a point of going to the Rum Shack, though, is the thing, you know? Not to say they shouldn't go see you play, but I don't know how many Glasgow jobs you're applying to. If it's a lot, then by all means keep it there. But if it's not, then maybe it doesn't need to be there. Perhaps like your projects page have like, here's this thing I do monthly or whatever. Could be an idea. So back to the main page. Let's watch a show reel. Here is the show reel 2020 rescore and redesign mix. This is sound only and music only. We have Aftermath, original sound design and composition. We have Make Music Day video reel and Older show reel. I mentioned already, Older show reel can probably go. All I really care about as a potential hirer is your newest and best stuff, okay? Not even newest, just best. If you have something that's 7 years old and still stands up, then by all means, put it in your reel. But having older reel is just like, who cares? I want to know what you're most proud of right now, okay? It's just filler. So let's watch your sound redesign reel because this is a sound, like a game sound review stream. Yes? V2? SD only V2. Get that V2 out of there. Also, SD. Just say sound design, man. Let's turn off my sidechain. It's like 526. We've been talking about your page for a long time. I apologize. Let's go full screen and let's watch a reel. Shall we? 3, 2, 1, and... Okay, so at this point, I would be maybe checking what's up ahead. We can come back and talk about why in a bit. Okay, let's go. Spooky. All right. Is that all? Yep. Okay. So, question for you right now, Charlie. So, like I said regarding your bio, there's nothing in there regarding like game sound stuff. So, I'm asking you now that what kinds of jobs are you hoping to land? Like, are you looking to work in a film post house, or like a sound design place doing, like animation or film, that kind of thing? Or do you want to work in games at a, AAA studio, like a large studio? Like, who did Dead by Daylight? Was that Behavior in Montreal? I think it's Behavior and Starbreeze, right? Or 505, Behavior and 505. Or do you want to work for like independent developers, or do you want to work for a third-party studio like ours, like Power Up or Hexany or Hyperduck or Wabi Sabi Sound or whatever? You want to work on indie games. You can't relocate. Small time. Okay. Behavior. Zeb Kicks. Yo, Zeb. It's been a while, pal. I hope you're well. Okay, so if you want to work on indie games, be aware of your audience again. So on top of being clear on your main page about like your game interest and such, I would recommend that the content in your reel itself be relevant to the audience you want to work for. So if you're looking to work for indie developers, the thing is, indie developers don't make Spider-Man Far From Home, and nor do they make Stranger Things on Netflix. We're getting closer with the Dead by Daylight bit, but it's still a very large project compared to what most indie developers are making. So you were watching the stream earlier, right? So with Tim's content, doing things like, Hyperlight Drifter, like that kind of content is really relevant, because if I'm doing an indie game and I see an indie game I know with some cool sound design, the fact that it's in that reel communicates, here's my sound chops, and here's what I can do, and here is a kind of an unspoken indication that I like this game and I'm into games in general. This reel at 1:36 is long. A minute is definitely better. Around here, the fact that we hadn't seen a game yet, I was like, oh, okay, so what's this reel gonna look like? I was going ahead a lot, and I recognize Stranger Things in this clip right here, of course, from the preview image as well. So it just wasn't very clear to me as far as like what you want to be doing. So it's not, at this point, it's not even like a question of your ability as a sound designer. It's a question of like if you even care about the medium I'm working in, like games, or if you prefer to work in film, because this is definitely film heavy. It's like 2/3 film, right? Or at least linear. So yeah, go games heavy, my friend. Like, what's your older, I'm curious now what your older show reel is in terms of ambient show reel. Whoa. Okay, now I'm curious. 2.5 minutes, 2:46 is long. Skipping through. Okay, game stuff. We're going sidechain again too. Sidechain on. Let's go. Skipping ahead. Oh, I've seen that clip before. Or have I? What could this be? Subnautica. Let's move on. Dante's Inferno. So this is also game heavy, man. So what changed? I'm really curious. Really curious. Would Reddit's game dev subreddit be a good resource? Tons of indie devs looking for help on small projects. I mean, there's like a game dev jobs subreddit, I think, also. I think in general, posting like, can I have a project, please? Is like maybe not the best thing to do. I think that seeking out people looking for work is a good idea. If they're saying, hey, I need someone to work for me, then by all means, hit them up. So let's talk about your actual design, though. So presentation-wise, Charlie, this opening is like pretty bare bones. I like your page in terms of like its approach and like your like this stuff about like this font color. It's a link, mind you, but like the font color and like the font you chose and stuff. So why not use that same approach in your sound reel? Just have that connectivity between like the cohesion between your sound reel content and your sound design, so and your website, you know. So very basic. This title content can go a little higher. It's a lower third. Put it like at a third up the image, or up the video pane. Put it here instead. No one will care if it's covering up things. But also keep in mind, have some like some black opacity behind it so you can still read it. And don't take it down ever, which you have not. Thank you. Although this was kind of briefly blank. Oh, just the crossfade. That's fine. Okay, and then moving on to this bit. Let's talk about this last clip because it's the games one, okay? Cool intro. The was nice and abstract. I'm into it. That sounds to me like it is distorting. I'm hearing some like clicks in there and stuff, and not the good kind. Be aware of that. That sounds like it's a bit too loud or something's happening there. It's like it's kind of clicking in and out a little bit, you know. And there's a hard drop off there. It's really wide. Also, be aware of directionality and such. If you're building a space, this scene right here has a thing we're seeing right in front of us. It's not off in the distance somewhere disembodied. It is right in front of us. If I close my eyes right now, that, I mean, maybe it's a creative choice to have it like all around you, like his voice is in your head or something like that. It's a little dangerous because then you hear his feet like in front of you, but not the voice in front of you. Further, just details wise, we don't really hear him get up. We hear the voice. So all we hear here is like a chip chip of the two hands, feet. And that's it. There's a lot more sound there though. With the getting up, kind of like pulling out and like getting up. There's a lot of kind of Foley movement there you can cover, just details wise. There, that seemed kind of loose as far as sync's concerned, like the footsteps. Yeah, it seemed pretty loose to me. The tap, 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 tap of the footsteps. So, I would recommend and encourage you to think more about the story of what's happening here and help tell each moment of that story. In this case, we're hunting down dude. When there's a lunge, we hear the voice ramp up, but there's nothing in like the worldization of it, nothing in the movement. Even like the could have some sound to it. that lunge is like a, that's it. There's like not much else. But that lunge is dangerous and scary, and we should sell that with the sound. Like a, and that slash, we hear like some like blood, I guess, spatter, but not very much, and some slicing, some ripping. You know, there's blood coming out of somewhere, right? So where'd that blood come from? The oof is fine. Voiceover in demo reels as well. You don't really need it. No one's going to be mad if it's not there because they know you're not a professional voice actor. Yours is like, it's okay. It's fine. But don't feel like you need to have it in there. Just a heads up. Yeah, it's the same thing here in terms of like distance to the sound, in terms of this, like where the sound's located, left and right. Just pay attention to, like, again, the worldization of your sounds, like where the sounds are in the scene, if they're right in the middle, if they're to the right or the left, if they're like what size of the room they're in, how far from the camera they are. If it's closer to you, they'll be bassier. Further away, it'll be less bassy, I mean, in general. Again, details on the movement here. You can do a lot more than what you've done. There's like this scene here. There's like some tap, tap, tap. You're kind of hitting like the moments where there's like footfalls and such, but the footfall isn't like a tap on like a metal surface. It's not that. There's like what 4, 3, 5 claws, something like that. There's more detail to the foot than just like that, you know. And further, there's like scraping and stuff when they lunge. It's not gonna be like lunging from a completely like standard like stationary position, like, and now they leave the ground. It seemed like and like push off as they go this way, you know. So you have a lot more room to kind of flesh out what this actually what this might sound like if you're right there. This struggling and such too, same thing. The body here, we don't hear any of that. We hear his feet, and that's it as they land. But we'd hear this body move. It was like kind of the bang on the ground, the body. Some more ripping, that like going on top. We hear a lot of voice. There's a lot of voice design you've done as far as like what you think this monster sounds like. But what like the effects that monster's having on its physical environment could use a lot more love. Even like the little claws here on the ground are so cool. Like the little claws here. And that throw, the head banging back down to the ground again. Yeah, it's a lot more detail is what you can lean into. That's like the main takeaway. And the main thing in detail is sure, push that voice content if you wanted, like just do monster voices. They're tough, and I'm really bad at them. But yeah, be aware of like frequency content if it's far from the mic or close to the mic being like the camera where the listener is, and you know, having it sound appropriate to suit, and like choosing if it's stereo or mono. If it's stereo, is it really all around you? If that's a choice you're making, it should be really, really obvious. I don't think that this particular monster has like telepathic powers or anything, or like speaking into your mind powers, so having it all around you is maybe a bold move. Okay. Yeah, so that's my piece on this one. It's already 5:41, so I'm probably trying to wrap it up here. So yeah, lean in details hard. The page itself, I'm curious of this one really quick. This is a top left video. This is likely what people will click. SD, just say sound design, man. You don't need to abbreviate here. And get rid of that V2 again. Get rid of it. Same thing, details there. You have the voices in there. But the very first thing we see is like movement and stuff, but no sound, right? So if I'm being totally honest, in the first 2 seconds of your reel, like the sound design one, I was like, okay, like he's gonna be missing details for sure. Just because this opening clip, there's clear movement, but it's no Foley covered. I mean, yeah, okay, so it sounds like it looks to be the exact same reel, just with music also. Is that what we're saying? Okay, so yeah, with the mix and the music in there also, it's really easy to like kind of miss the fact that there is this like Foley content and stuff missing, because there's the sound is being, or the soundscape in general, the frequency range and time for sound it's being covered by music, right? So when you pull the music out, that's like what Matt Martinson always says, and like just said in the Game Audio Slack regarding like if you have sound and music in your reel, have them separate, because we can't tell if you've made like creative choices to omit things, or if you just perhaps didn't consider that level of detail. So yeah, I mean, it's fine having this like this. I think in general people don't really need to see this one. Like at your current state in your career, I don't think that you would need. I mean, again, if you're looking to work in indie games, like this reel is completely irrelevant to what you want to be doing, and therefore, when people see that kind of thing, like when an indie developer who's looking to hire somebody, when they see this video, they're going to be like, "This person doesn't work on anything relevant to what I'm doing." That's going to be their thought, and I say that with a lot of certainty. So that's the biggest takeaway I'd say here, besides like the, sink your teeth into details more, is that in terms of communicating what you want to be doing, I would say your reel is not doing that right now. It's telling me you want to work in film or maybe in AAA sound design. And as what you've told me, you don't want either of those things. So that's a problem, right? So, I mean, I would love to see a reel again if you do some more redesigned content. Further, this reel doesn't, or this website in general, doesn't say anything regarding like if you have any aptitude or interest in things like implementation. And that's something that's becoming more and more relevant as far as hiring. I mean, it's very relevant for large studios, and more relevant for smaller ones too, for smaller developers. If you want to learn things like Fmod and Wise, there are example projects out there. We released the entirety of Celeste with the source audio content, audio and the sound effects and music. You can just download it from Fmod's site and open the entire thing, and you can like connect to your purchased game on Steam, and you can mess with the mix while the game's running and stuff. Like, we made it available for people like you looking to get into development with developers like that and learning those tools. So by all means, go have at her. But yeah, showing that you're interested in that kind of work, and that you again have this aptitude and interest in working in an interactive medium is really, really important. Because I'll say it one more time, you're not just showing what you can do. The quality of your work can't stand on its own, because you're up against a multitude of other individuals. So you need to be at their level in order to be considered for a job. Just kind of what it comes down to. So as far as the overall criteria goes, presentation-wise, your site is like, it's got a lot of small details to deal with, and it's funny how I kind of foresaw that in your reel as well, as far as like details in your site. So there you go. Just take care of details in your presentation of your site and yourself, as well as your content in your reel. And I think you could do a little more in terms of like branding yourself too. Like, I like your page on the whole, but yeah, more like you said. Like, I saw Damien talking about pictures in the chat. I would love to see what you look like. For example, what's your deal? What's you in your radio show environment? And that just further, it's not like it's your brand, quote unquote. And also, yeah, I saw Joey say nice speakers. Joey has these same ones. It's not just like your brand for like a company approach, but it's also people. If you're working with indie developers want to know who they are working with, because they are giving you their baby to take care of and work on, and that's a very large thing for a developer to do. So you need to tell them you can be trusted and saying like, hey, here's me in an environment where I'm serious about audio and stuff. Here's this reel showing how much I love indie games. Like all these things will just serve to tell people that you are to be trusted. And that's how you land gigs, all right? Okay, so distinction, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. My current opinion, I do not think you're standing out right now, just due to a little bit of perhaps a shortfall in focus regarding what you're showing that you want to be working in. And also focusing more on like the content of the page itself, like the radio and gigs and stuff, just being really focused on like, listen, I know why you're here. You want to hire somebody and I'm the person, I'm the guy for the job. That's what your page should be doing. Okay. So this is a great example of one I would love to see again if you end up doing some indie work and redesign Hyperlit Drifter as an example. I would love to see it again. So thank you, Charlie, for getting in touch, and all the best, my friend. Please, any questions or anything else, feel free to follow up. I went way over time, but I didn't want to like not talk about sound stuff just because I was talking about website for so long. So thank you very much. Thank you, Damien, again, for allowing us to read your entire very old demo reel from 2006. That was fun. And thanks everyone for hanging out and giving awesome opinions and ideas and stuff in the chat. It's always great to see. I really appreciate that every single week. So I will see you next week. I know I have somebody who, I think Jamie Baker. I may have even seen Jamie in the chat at some point earlier on, like Baker Sound. Is that Jamie Baker? So yeah, Jamie is on next week, and maybe someone else. Our January is pretty empty right now, to be honest, or January and February rather. So feel free to throw yourself our way on Twitter or via our contact inquiry form on our website. Okay, and I promise I'll be looking into getting guest hosts on here again. Perhaps Lost Chocolate Lab will be down. We'll see. Okay, I'm putting some Runer back on because it's really good. And there we go. Peace.